What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to World According to Briggs and a list about the most loved countries on the planet. We just got done doing the most hated countries on the planet. Now the more important subject of the two, the most loved countries. There are several different organizations that do surveys about countries that are the most loved, or like the other day, the most hated. The Reputation Institute does a study. The Pew Research people do one about attitudes towards different countries. Gallup has their own version. I looked at all the surveys I could find and came up with a list of the countries that are most frequently on those surveys at the top 10. There are a lot of different reasons people from other countries may love another country. It could be the generosity towards other countries, great experiences when they visit, the natural beauty, quality of life for its population, the culture, the food. There's a lot of reasons people love countries. And I'll tell you right now, and if you want to go back and look at the other list, no matter what is said about a country, a state, any place, there's going to be different opinions on each one. I talked about how India showed up on all the surveys as one of the most hated countries on the planet, and I get a bunch of people like sending me almost a resume for India, like these are all the quality things about India, you need to take it off the list. You need to get that out to other people, so when they do this survey again in a couple years, India isn't on the list. Right now, it's on the list. They acted like there's all these great things that India accomplished. They are. They have a long history and a great culture of some beautiful things. But right now, not a lot of people like them. And that's true with any country on the planet, any state in the United States, any city you go to. You're gonna have people that love it and you're gonna have people that hate it. All right, let's see what countries people say they love. Number 10, Norway. Like I said in the last video, a lot of times when a country is hated, it goes way back to something they did in their history. Apparently, they don't go that far back because Norway, along with Sweden and Denmark, gave us the Vikings. And if you know anything about European history, you know these guys were a frickin' nightmare for a very long time. But today's Norwegians are nothing like their 8th century countrymen. I guess you call them countrymen. Wasn't a country back then, but you get what I'm saying. As this list goes on, you will see that most of the countries come from this same area of the world. They all share something Norway excels in: quality of life for the residents. Norwegians, on average, live a very healthy life, and their work-life balance is always one of the best in the world. Whenever there's a survey about that, Norway's one of those countries that has a really good work-life balance. Norway isn't a terribly large country. They only have a population of 1.3 million residents. From a tourist point of view, this is a beautiful place. I mean, all the little different islands, the land itself, the beautiful architecture, definitely a good place to visit. Number 9, Denmark. Just south of Norway and west of Sweden, you have the small country of Denmark. Denmark is home to one of the most beautiful cities on the planet, Copenhagen. If you ever get a chance, visit Copenhagen. Like Norway, Denmark has a little over 5 million residents, and they enjoy the second best quality of life in the world, along with the second best social purpose. Social purpose is just how the country cares about human rights, about the environment, gender equality, religious freedom, respect of property, well-distributed political power, things like that. If you ever want to visit, I've heard nothing but great things about taking a cruise from New York that goes up there from Iceland and Norway and then down to Copenhagen. Take that cruise if you're into cruises. It's supposed to be one of the best ones. Number 8, the Netherlands. Down the coast a bit from Denmark and sandwiched between Germany, Belgium, and the North Sea, you have the Netherlands. And their most famous city, Amsterdam. Last time I talked about the Netherlands, someone asked me why it isn't Holland anymore. Basically, this is how it goes. The difference between Netherlands and Holland is the Netherlands is the term for the country as a whole. It's got 12 provinces, while Holland refers to just 2 provinces of North and South Holland. But the Dutch have formed what has long been considered a very tolerant society. Now, in recent years, some politicians are kind of voicing concerns over immigration. The Netherlands are considered to have the highest concentration of museums in the world. And it only makes sense. I mean, this is the birthplace of Rembrandt and Van Gogh. The Netherlands are the most populous country on this list so far, with just over 17 million residents. Number 7, New Zealand. Other than Auckland being one of the most expensive cities on earth right now, I've never heard much bad about New Zealand. Everyone I know that's ever visited, everyone I know that's ever lived there, which is only 3 people, but probably know 8 or 9 people that have visited, they have nothing but great things to say about New Zealand. New Zealand is considered to be the most scenic country in the world and one of the happiest. This is an incredibly beautiful country. They even have the clearest lake on Earth. The water is just the clearest. It's actually called Nelson's Blue Lake. It's got a visibility of 80 meters, like down. You can see 80 meters down. Most of the lakes I've ever been to, you're lucky if you can see 2 feet down. New Zealand has a population of just over 5 million residents, and it is the 7th most loved country in the world. Number 6, Sweden. And back up north, we go to Sweden, birthplace of Ingrid Bergman, Alfred Nobel, and PewDiePie. For you older people, the name PewDiePie doesn't ring a bell. He's the biggest YouTuber as far as subscribers go. I think there's one channel that has more, but it's really part of a corporation from India. Anyway, moving on. Sweden is flanked by Norway to the west, the Baltic Sea to the east, and expands across much of Scandinavia's peninsula, and is one of the largest countries in the European Union by land mass. Sweden is ranked 3rd in quality of life and has one of the best work-life balances on Earth. Swedes are some of the world's most generous people. They donate on average about 1% of their gross national product to humanitarian aid programs every single year. And that's how this country of just over 5 million became the 6th most loved country. Number 5, Australia. Who doesn't love Australia and Crocodile Dundee videos? Or movies at one point. What is strange about that, back in the 80s, a lot of Americans thought that's how Australians were, just like Crocodile Dundee. I had an Australian guy tell me one time that if you travel to parts of the outback, you'll find people like that without the movie exaggerations. You know, he said you'll see where that character came from in some of these people. Australia is loved because of the people and the land. They're both beautiful. Australia is ranked 6th for outdoor lifestyle, and the government gets high marks for modernization and responsiveness. I guess that's an important stat to have, responsiveness. I mean, you're working for the people and you want to respond to what they want. Makes sense. Number 4, Switzerland. Switzerland is one of those countries that has just a great reputation. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful country, and then their reputation is just untarnished. They stay out of wars, they stay out of other people's business. This wasn't part of this survey to find out which is the most loved country, but I did see stats before that Switzerland is considered the best country to have a business or to do business with. I'm sure most of that has to do with banking. But as far as the beauty of Switzerland, if you want to see a good video that shows how amazing this country is, there's a YouTuber named Harris, and she has a great video on Switzerland. I'll put a link in the description down below. It's worth watching. Switzerland and its 8.5 million residents come in at number 4. Number 3, Germany. Yeah, Germany is a much loved country. Now, I'd mentioned this before, that usually when someone has something horrible in their past, they carry a lot of that hatred for decades and decades and maybe even centuries. Germany, as we know, has a very, very dark past, but they've gone so far past it, it's now part of history. It's not viewed as these Germans are evil, it's viewed as these Germans taught us a lesson of how not to be, and the German people of today are nothing like it. I actually made a video, a trolling video about Germany a while back, and oh my god, these people defended this country like it was a family member. It was, in a way, it was kind of beautiful. It got a little irritating, but it was kind of beautiful. Germany is great for tourism, it's great for relocation, and it's considered the 2nd best country on the planet for entrepreneurship. But I think the history and the travel are what gets them to be such a loved country. They're at number 3 with their 83 million residents. I didn't know they had that many. I honestly thought they would be under 50 million. The country doesn't seem that crowded. I mean, they've got some big cities, but it just seems like it's very rural outside those cities, like they wouldn't have that many people. Anyway, yeah, they got 83 million, a little over 83 million residents. Number 2, Japan. Yeah, just like Germany, this is another country that has done such good that they've moved past their darker past, which obviously, along with Germany, World War II was pretty ugly. They did some other bad things in the past too, but Japan now is nothing like that. They do have a reputation for overworking their people, or I guess the people do it voluntarily. It's just part of their culture to work hard, achieve goals, and just be successful. That is very much ingrained in their culture. Japan is ranked 5th when it comes to cultural influence, which how their culture and their history affect, consumers and fashion and design, things like that. In other words, they haven't strayed too far away from their ancient culture when it comes to things like design and fashion. etc. They are considered the #1 country for entrepreneurship on the planet, which is outstanding. Business people and tourists alike love Japan. They always give it high marks. It's one of the places I plan on visiting within the next couple of years. Japan is a little more populated than just about any other place on this list, with their 126.3 million residents. Yeah, some other places like Tokyo and Yokohama, they're pretty crowded. Now, before we get to #1, don't forget we got another channel called On This Day. There is a link down below. Maybe you should check that out. Give it a big thumbs up if you find a video you like, or subscribe. All right, on to #1. And #1, Canada. This one does not shock me at all. Canada has been doing the right things for a long time when it comes to their people. Their land is beautiful. The only thing I ever hear that's bad about Canada is they're a little overtaxed. But I mean, that's true for just about any country. Here in the United States, some people think they're great because they have that universal health care. Then others say it's horrible because they're overtaxed because of it, and it's just not that good. Every Canadian I know has nothing but great things to say about their healthcare system. That's what I go by. I go by the people. I listen to the other things that are going on around there, but when I want to know about something like that, if I know someone from a country, I ask the person. And I probably know 20 people that are from Canada or who have lived in Canada, and at least 5 or 6 of them we've talked about the healthcare system. They all think it's great. And that's a big reason a lot of people love this country, the healthcare system. But once you get past that, it is a huge country with a lot of open land that is beautiful. The people are decent. As an example, I did that trolling video on Germany, and I mean, I got everything from death threats to just insults. I made a mistake. I didn't make a mistake. I just worded it poorly, and I made it sound like I was saying Ottawa was actually in Quebec when it's right on the border, but it's in Ontario. Yeah, they were nothing but polite in correcting me. I don't think I found one where they were rude in the slightest. The point I'm trying to make are Canadian people are one of the biggest reasons people love this country, and I'm one of them. The people are great. The land is beautiful, and the government takes care of their people. Of course, we're going to get complaints about this, but they have a reputation for being responsive to their citizens. Not everyone's going to feel that way, but majority of the people do. And of course, we're going to get some dude named Doug that lives in Regina, and he's going to talk about how the government sucks. I don't know what the deal is with Canada and dudes named Doug. There seems to be a lot of them named Doug there. Canada is the second largest country on the planet as far as area goes, but they're 37th when it comes to population. They only have a little over 38 million residents. I think the New York City and the Los Angeles metro area have more people than the entire country of Canada. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day. Be nice to each other.